We're here today to discuss the security preparations for the upcoming counting and certification of the electoral votes during a joint session of Congress on January 6th and the upcoming state funeral for former President Jimmy Carter. Before we get into the details of the conference, please allow me to speak very briefly on the recent events that occurred across the country earlier this week. Since the incidents, we have begun actively working with our local, federal, and state partners to share intelligence and to provide support for the ongoing investigation. As of this moment, there are no credible known threats here in the District of Columbia, but out of an abundance of caution, I have heightened our security postures across the city in light of the recent events. Members of the community will notice an increased presence of police officers throughout the district. I want to assure our community that whenever a significant event occurs, such as what happened on New Year's Day, we closely monitor the incident and immediately began engaging with intelligence communities, and we take an additional step to reevaluate our security posture to ensure the safety of our residents, businesses, as well as our visitors.
Obviously, the political dynamic is different this time than it was 4 years ago for January 6th. But do you see any possibility that there could be any sort of disruption like we saw back then? Is there any intelligence that anybody's coming to town? Do you have any expectation? Could it happen again? That's 5 questions.
5 questions. There's no credible intelligence that we expect a mass demonstration like we had 4 years ago. Anytime you ask a question about, what intelligence and what we are reacting to from the intelligence community, it always ends with, but there's always the lone wolf, always the person who's operating by themselves, and you have no warning about those individuals. That's what occurred in this past few days. These were folks that were by themselves. There was no way for anybody to know about what they were planning. So we need to be prepared for that as much as we need to be prepared for anything. There are several permitted demonstrations. There's some chatter about some other folks and conspiracy theorists, talking about, well, if this happens, we need to be at the Capitol, those kinds of things. But again, no indication that that hotels are filling up with these people, that these people are traveling to D.C. So, but the threat environment is heightened at a level that all of us are on high alert. All of us are being very proactive in terms of the preventive measures that we're putting into place.
Is the FBI concerned about copycats? I mean, arguably Jabbar was a copycat from the German market just a few weeks ago. So are we still concerned about potential copycats from that incident?
I think we're always concerned about any behavior that may drive other violent behavior, and we've certainly seen that in past these 2 events. The FBI will continue to look for any intelligence that might let us discover a plan to commit a violent act, whether it's individually or as a large group, and we will ensure that we assess and move that information to our partners as quickly as possible. The security procedures you see around a national special security event certainly give us an enhanced ability to interdict something like that. They are challenging cases to work, but we have been working with them for a very long time. In New Orleans and Las Vegas, both cases being investigated by FBI field offices there alongside their state and local partners and any other federal agencies that would get involved in those areas of responsibility, much like we do here in Washington, D.C.